Good evening, everyone. Evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Okay, you are welcome to day one presentation of seminar presentation. I am Nurse Laditi. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a therapeutic nurse. I am currently working at Olabisi Banjo University Hospital, Shagamu State. So I welcome you all to the one seminar presentation held on the 2nd January 2026. The focus of this presentation will be on writing research project chapter 1 and 3. So the one will be looking at choosing and refining research topics and writing chapter 1. So I encourage you to pay rapt attention to my presentation, and at the end of the presentation, you will be given an opportunity to ask questions. Thank you all as you listen. Let's start. At the end of the presentation, the participants should be able to construct a good researchable topic, write a clear and concise background of the study, write a clear statement of the problem, develop goal research objectives and questions, and identify action steps that will be used to develop research-specific objectives. Now, before I continue, I would like to start by telling us what it is. There are different schools of thought on the definition of research. For the purpose of this presentation, I will be focusing on the definition propounded by Burns 1997, which states that research is systematic investigation to find answers to a problem. When we talk about systematic, it means it's a step-by-step procedure. That is, it involves a systematic approach. That is the systematic approach to finding answers or questions to a problem or finding solutions to a challenge or challenges. That is what research is about. Really, theory and search. That is, you are looking for it all over and again. You are looking for it all over and again. So you are looking at it all over. You are doing it again. You are searching for it. You are looking for it. So there is a problem, and you are looking for how to solve it. So now, research cycle. When you talk about research cycle, it simply means like a cycle, and this cycle has 13 phases. Number one is research idea. Number two, review of literature or call literature review. Number three is formulation of the research problem. Number four is articulating research questions and objectives. Number five is operationalization of terms and variables. Number six is developing a theoretical or conceptual framework. Number seven is research design. Number eight is data collection. Number nine is data analysis. Number 10 is answering research questions. Number 11 is theoretical interpretation of the results. Number 12 is conclusion. Number 13 is recommend. Now, I'll be using this research cycle to explain to us how we are going to go about this presentation. Because as I've said earlier, this presentation is a practical presentation. It's showing you. I'm not going to go in depth with the theoretical aspects of the research, telling us about the types of research, what is all this. No, we are looking at the practical aspect of the research, how you can write research chapter 1 to 3. Now, let's start. Before I begin the chapter 1, before I commence chapter 1, let me first talk to us about what we understand by research idea. The first thing before you write a research, before the commencement of any research, you must have an idea, and this idea must have been conceived in your mind, or as a result of the observation, what you observe in your environment. So, and is this idea that we now use that we lead to choosing and refining your research topic? So, before, for instance, in your environment, you discover that maybe in the hospital, you see that patients after having undergone surgical procedure, 5 days postoperatively, they tend to come down with infection at the surgical site. So, is it something that thing can actually prompt you to want to carry out it because it's an observation, like an idea. That is what you notice observing in your environment. So, is this idea that will lead to choosing and refining your topic? And the topic any research topic you are choosing, you must have interest in it. That's the first and the most paramount thing you must take note in this research. In research, you must have interest. You must be interested in it, and you must be passionate and be enthusiastic about this research topic. Yeah. Because research is going to take it's stressful, at the same time it's interesting. So you have to love what you're doing. Now, how do you choose a research topic? Your research topic can come from observation, like what you observe in the environment, what you notice, what you see people doing, and it's okay. Maybe you're seeing that most of the nurses in the environment, maybe the job satisfaction, people are leaving, they're leaving out of the country, they are migrating to the other part of the world, to the developed countries. It's like it's an observation of what you observe, like, what's happening. Is it all nurses are living? Like, that's what is known as like Japa, popularly called Japa. So people are living. So it's something that can actually prompt you to carry out research. Like, okay, an observation. Nurses are migrating from one country to another. Why? That's an observation. So another thing is reflection on your experiences. Experience, they say is a experience. They say is what is very important when it comes to experience, either clinical experience or academic experience. You cannot use money to buy experience. So when you reflect on your experience, maybe when you were in school, you're doing your undergraduate study in university, you discover that most of the students, or most of the nurses, or most of the patients on the ward, they are not like, okay, maybe they're like mothers, for instance, maybe nursing mothers attending postnatal clinic. Maybe they are not practicing exclusive breastfeeding, or their children that are being underweight. So it's called like, okay, I could remember while I was in nursing school, I remember, something like this happened. So reflection, you reflect back on the experiences, the experience that you had, exposure, your knowledge, you reflect back. From there, you can actually choose. Then reading sows the seed of greatness, they say. So reading is very important. Reading textbooks, reading journals, articles, and get topics. All these things. Question when you're having discussion with people who are more knowledgeable than you in terms of academics, people who are more versatile when it comes to reading, to nursing research. Having discussion with them, either to your superior officer at work or to your peer, your colleagues. Then seminars, workshops, you can also get your topics, you can choose topics, and get your topics from all these places. They are good sources of information. Then brainstorming. Brainstorming is a form of you reflecting, you thinking about the mind mapping, you are visualizing it in your mind. What do you think happen? Then logical thinking, creative thinking, in your mind direction. Now, your research topic, apart from what I've said earlier, your research topic must reflect on, when you're choosing your research topic must reflect on 5 W's and 1 H. 5 W's and 1 H. 5 W's. What do you mean by 5 W's? 5 why, who, what, where, when, and how. Why? Why did I choose this topic? Why did I choose the topic? What interests you about it? Do you have an opinion about the issues involved or about the problem involved? Do you think is a topic that you think, okay, so we'll be able to carry it out? Do you love the topic? Do you have interest in it? Why do you choose it? You must be able to specify, okay, I'm choosing topic on, okay, for my environment now, I've discovered that most of the nursing mothers are not breastfeeding their babies. Like, they're not practicing breastfeeding. Maybe as a result of my experience, I've worked in postnatal clinic for like maybe 5 years. I discovered that most of the nursing mothers coming to the hospital, then by the time we take their weight, the weight of their children, they are being underweight. So I can decide to carry out a research on this. Okay, why did I choose to talk about maybe a sort of underweight? Yeah, and it's going to affect the cognitive development of the children involved. So I look at, okay, what's interesting. So because of this, I'm actually interested in this. I'm interested in seeing children growing, like in their growth and development, their nutritional status, their health, everything I'm interested about it. And also to reduce the morbidity and mortality rate in the country, in the environment. So I'll need to look at, okay, that's number one. Why? Why am I interested in it? Why did I choose the topic? Then who are those affected? Who is affected by this? Who are the information providers? Who are the respondents? The nursing mother, for instance. Now, the nursing mothers will be my respondent. I need to look at those. Who are the primary stakeholders who might publish information about it. There should be population to focus. Who are those people that should focus? I'm focusing on nursing mothers. The other side, because of their children. I'm focusing on nursing mothers. Who are those affected? That is who. And another one is what? What is it? The problem. The problem is what is they are not practicing exclusive breastfeeding. Practice of exclusive breastfeeding. Inadequate practice of exclusive breastfeeding among nursing mothers at any postnatal clinic in Olabiton Institution Hospital. So that is the problem. The problem is inadequate practice of breastfeeding. So I'll be able to derive my research questions. I want to talk on their knowledge, on their attitude, or their practice, or why are they not going, maybe the factors that might be affecting them. So these are some of the things I'm going to write on that word. Then where is my topic important? Is it at the local level, the national level, the international level, hospital, clinical areas, the hospital, the academic area, the community society. So I need to look at where is the topic important. You're not just solving the problem. You need to make sure that the problem you are solving is contributing immensely and significantly to the environment where you are. So where is your topic important? You need to look at it. Then when is it important? When, that is another W. When is it important? There are some research that you have to carry out maybe in the north during the rainy season or during the dry season. You'll be able to know what's really going on in that kind of environment. So when should I carry? Should I do it during the rainy season or during the dry season? Is it current? Is it a current event or an historical issue? So I need to look at all these things. These are some of the things that I need to put into consideration. When. Then the last one is how. How is this thing? How is the topic or idea influence others, or how serious is the issue? I've seen that people are not being the children are not being fed with, like okay, so these are actually a significant issue that can be looked into. Though it might be an onerous task for me to carry it out, but I need to be persistent and to be determined to carry it out. So how serious is the issue or the problem? Look at it. Serious, like the seriousness of the issue. Is it that serious, mild, moderate, or severe, or extremely serious? So I need to look at all these things. I need to put them in consideration. So your research topic must reflect must reflect 5 W's and H. Now, another thing you must know that another characteristic of research topic. Your research topic must have these variables, must have variable that's independent variable and independent variable, the target population or study population. When I talk about dependent variable is usually talking about what you observe. That is your own idea, what you observe. Okay, for instance, now, inadequate practice of expressing. That's my independent variable. What I observe is practice of expressing. They are not practicing it well. Not some others are not practicing it well. So my independent variable will now be what I can change, what I can manipulate in that topic. I can now decide to okay, my topic will be on knowledge attitude towards the practice of exclusive breastfeeding among nursing mothers at any postnatal clinic at Olabiton University Hospital. That will not be my population will not be the nursing mothers. That will be the nursing mothers. So the research setting will not be the Olabiton University Hospital. So that's how your topic. But for your topic to be classified or to be regarded as a researchable topic, it must have these variables, must have dependent variable, independent variable, the target or study population, and research setting. If not, topic is not considered as a researchable topic. And it must reflect 5 W's and 1 H. Now, let's move on. Now, this is a typical example. This is a typical example of a researchable topic. Knowledge and attitude towards practices of exclusive breastfeeding among nursing mothers attending postnatal clinic at Olabiton University Hospital, Shagamu, Ogun State. Now, look at it. Example. Dependent variable is practice of exclusive breastfeeding. Independent variable is what? Knowledge and attitude. And study population or target population is what? Nursing mothers. And research setting is OETH. That means Olabiton University Teaching Hospital, Shagamu, Ogun State. And 5 W's that I've said earlier and 1 H. It reflects it also. Like, okay, why? Why did I choose this topic? I'm choosing this topic because I've discovered that in my environment, I've discovered that most of the nurses, like most of the patients, most of the nursing mothers bringing their children for examination or for review, their babies have been underweight. So I was okay. So that's why I'm choosing the topic. Then the who are those affected, the children, the mothers, like those are the people that want to respond to my questionnaires. Then the what's the problem? The problem is like practice of breastfeeding. Then where is the importance in the hospital, that I'm carrying that, that's what's going to be important. And when is it going to be important to me? It's going to be important like it's a current issue. I've observed it is a current issue or something like maybe about 2 days or maybe like 3 months ago I observed that. And how is the topic going to influence? Going to affect hospital management in taking that decision. You'll be able to know whether there should be more awareness, more counseling, more education, health awareness, health campaign. You can be able to create more awareness and health campaign on exclusive or practices of exclusive breastfeeding among multi-mothers, which will definitely affect the growth and development of the country. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's move on to the background of the story. Now let's move on. How do you write the chapter one of the work? Now we are gradually moving on to, we talk about the choosing and refining the topic. Now you've been able to know how to write the topic. You've been able to choose your topic and your topic has been refined. So if you have your topic with you, then you can start and follow me. Now this is the practical aspect. We are moving towards the practical aspect of it. That's chapter one, introduction. Introduction is, so we are starting with what? Background of the study. That's 1.1 background of the story. Under this background of the study, you are expected to talk about 5 main things under the background of the study. Number one, you introduce the topic briefly and state its relevance. You introduce the topic briefly and state its relevance. Then number two, you contextualize the issue or the problem or the research idea. Then number three, you review the existing literature. You state the research and justify. So these are some of the things you should do under the background of the study. Ideally, once your topic has been approved by a supervisor, the next thing you should do is to carry out, conduct a written review. But because all things being equal, we don't usually practice all this. We don't always follow the protocol. No, you just want to jump the step. According to the research cycle that I've stated earlier, after the research idea, the topic has come. The next thing should be your review of literature. Because that literature review that you to write extensively or briefly or write succinctly on your background of study without you having without writing on the background of, without you carrying out your literature review, it will be difficult for you to write your background of the study. So that's why research literature review is the next thing after a topic has been approved. So once your literature review has been conducted, you have your journals, which you have your articles, those things you want to use, then you can now start with this. Now let's move on to the practical aspect. Introduce the topic. Now let's look at it. Introduce the topic briefly and state its relevance. That's the number one point under the background of the study. Now look at this topic. I'm writing on now. Exclusive breastfeeding is a significant practice for infant nutrition and health, with World Health Organization recommending it for the first 6 months of life. It is quite unfortunate that some students, by the time they are writing research, their project in chapter one, they tend to start with what? They tend to start with the definition. It's not actually ideal. So the first thing you need to do is to start with what is to introduce the topic briefly and state the relevance. Now look at the topic has been introduced. Then the importance of it, the relevance. Improving breastfeeding rate. Food save. Can you food save? That's like health. Would save over 820 children's life annually, boosting exclusive breastfeeding to 50% by 2025 will generate 500 billion in economic gains over 10 years. I've written on that. I'll introduce the topic and the relevance of it. Now, let's move on to the next one, contextualize the issue. Under contextualizing the issue, what I'm going to do is just to provide an overview of the problem or gap in the knowledge. And that's why we need to say, background of the study should be a funnel shape. So now what I'm going to do now, do globally, internationally, then I'll come down to my local level. Where I'm carrying out that research. So global, I will look at what has happened, like provide the overview of the problem. What's the overview? Like summary of the problem or gap in the knowledge, the attitude I'm carrying out. So look at this. Global exclusive breastfeeding rate have increased by more than 10% in the last 12 years, with 48% of infants worldwide now benefiting from it. In Africa, developing countries have lower breastfeeding rates. In Nigeria, in spite of efforts to promote exclusive breastfeeding, rates remain suboptimal. 9% of infants under 6 months exclusively breastfeeding. So that's contextualizing the issue. Now let's move on to the next one. Review the existing literature. Now I will now review the existing literature. This one what I'm going to do is just to summarize the key studies and highlight the limitation of the challenges, gaps in those awards. Now, existing studies have shown knowledge and attitude. Can you see my topic is knowledge and attitude towards a practice of exclusive breastfeeding among nursing mothers attending postnatal clinic and plans to manage the. So look at it. I've shown knowledge and attitude towards the serious as predictors of practice among us. Research in similar sense has highlighted gaps, and you see, in knowledge and negative attitude as major barriers to exclusive breastfeeding. So from here, we've been able to discover that there are gaps in the knowledge. So negative attitudes. These are the things that will determine the determinants of practice of exclusive breastfeeding among nursing mothers. Now, state the research gap. What will I do for me to state the research gap? When stating the research gap, what I'm going to do is just state the research gap. The specific area of the study that my topic is or my research is wants to address. That is stating the research gap. So can you see the gap? However, despite the campaign and awareness on significance of breastfeeding, many mothers do not practice exclusive breastfeeding because of negative attitude, cultural, and religious belief. Was it? Can you see? So for me, I've been able to see that they are not practicing it because of what? Of these factors. These are the determinants of practice of exclusive breastfeeding among us. Also, there's limited data statistics on the knowledge, attitude, and practice of among nursing mothers attending postnatal clinic at Olabi on the Banjo University. So this is the research gap. So I've been able to discover that okay, they are still not practicing. That's the gap. So now I will now just the next thing for me. So once I've stated this my research gap, I will justify my study. So I'll justify the study. Comprehending these factors is essential. I want to justify my study. What am I justifying? Justifying this study simply means I should state why my research is what is necessary. Why is it necessary? And its potential impact. So comprehending these factors is essential for developing targeted interventions from there. So with this my topic now. So if all the factors I've been able to identify the factors, the knowledge, the attitude, all these things can affect the practice of exclusive breastfeeding. So if all these things are looked into, then there should be what? It's going to improve the exclusive breastfeeding rate. You understand? It's going to improve it, and there is going to be what? Infant health outcomes in the facility, that's in the hospital. So it's again this background that this study focuses on knowledge and attitude towards the practice of exclusive breastfeeding among nursing mothers attending postnatal clinic at Laboratory Banjo. So with this, I've been able to write on my background of the study. So what this presentation is basically talking about that the key thing that we focus on in this presentation is the research, choosing and refining your research topic, and how to write chapter 1 introduction, the background of the study. So my next video will focus on how to write the statement of the problem. So do well to click on this so that I'll be able to learn more, so that the videos can go viral and everybody can benefit from it. So you'll be able to have access to subsequent videos that we will be releasing. So thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you.